What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, you the listener, are your biggest advocate for more compensation. No one else but yourself. What do you think about that, John Fosco?
I think I've never met anybody who thinks they get paid what they're worth. Not one person, especially if you're an employee. And I think everybody looks to outside people and they play the blame game when we can give you strategies on how not to do that and actually take control of the situation and get yourself fucking paid. G. From here on out, I'm calling you G.
Professor G.
No, just G.
That's all right. I got that. A G's on my varsity coat, man. They've been calling
me
G for a long time.
G. Gregorio, and then shortened to Gregory.
Yes,
G.
Exactly. Hey, it's brought to you by Square Card. Now, when you think Square Card, you might think Square Card Reader. No. Square actually has a card that they hooked up with MasterCard, correct, John? And you can have like literally a bank card that accesses your balance of your Square Reader. And once again, Square has something you probably weren't aware of, but it's an amazing business solution. I mean, John, we were reading this and we're like, man, they do that too?
Hey, listen, ecosystem city over here for Square.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're becoming the Apple of business solutions, although Apple has some business solutions as well. Square continues to innovate. And if they are taking in your money from a point of sale standpoint, from a standpoint of just settling your credit cards, why not have a card where you could spend that money that you take in for business expenses, et cetera?
Yeah, it's amazing. Go to square.com/go/biceps for more information today. Pretty amazing stuff over at Square.
Yeah, it's really amazing stuff.
And without further ado, I think it's time for Q&A and Butt Life.
Oh, it's time for Butt Life. Butt Life, you know, his head's a little groggy. His eyes aren't fully open. He went to Vegas, I believe, for the first time.
Yes.
So I smelled fucking Captain Morgan on his breath. And I don't know what he did, you know, with his posterior chain in Vegas. But here we are. Let's go.
Yes, everyone, keep on sending us questions at Biz and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter. If we use your question on the air, we'll send out a free t-shirt for you. First question. I have a great opportunity for a new leadership position at a new organization. I had 2 phone interviews last week, and they now want to schedule in person for me to meet with them. The time off calendar at my current job is completely booked until August, but the new team wants me there ASAP. I'm going to interview no matter what, so what do? Do I use 2 sick days and go to the interviews, or do I tell my current employer why I have to take the time off? I worry if I call in sick, I look like a lazy turd and leave my team hanging, but if I tell them why I need it, I may face retribution from them.
You know, I feel kind of like a hypocrite here because I always ask people for more context in their questions. And this dude gave a lot of context.
He did.
He gave a little too much context because right now I don't know what planet I'm on. But besides that, I'm going to try to answer his question.
Please.
Yes. So take 2 sick days. Take 2 sick days. You don't look like a lazy turd. People get sick. You're trying to make a educated decision about furthering your career. So if you have the sick days and they won't set off any, red flags internally, go take them, go find out what the other company's about, see if it is a better role, get your information, get an offer, get whatever you got to do, and then compare the two and make your decision. But the thought of I will look like a lazy turd when you are potentially entertaining leaving there, I think you got to get out of your head.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy decision. And actually, especially the fact that you have the sick days. In the corporate world, the sick days and vacation time are there to be used. That's why they give them to you. If you can utilize those without showing your strategy to the current situation so you don't screw it up while you're trying to make yourself better, why not do it? Don't care. Listen, I just don't think people in those type of structures
in the streets,
really going to think twice about it, to be straight with you. Like, I remember seeing or talking to friends that are like, yeah, I have 3 weeks vacation time. I take it all at the same time. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you take 3 weeks
I go to
off
Wisconsin Dells.
Hey, you take 3 weeks off your job and no one cares? How the fuck does that work? But That's what happens out there. So I would
Yep.
say take the 2 days, don't overthink it, go kill the interview, see what your options are.
Cory,
Next.
but before we go to, I forgot to introduce Butt Life Q1. But before we go to Q2 or numero dos,
Mhm.
a question like that makes me realize how many labor laws we break.
What do you mean? Who? Me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't even get a day off. And if you do try to take a day off for being sick, we'll probably fire you without cause. So I'm just throwing it
Yeah, I
out
don't
there.
think there's
Yeah.
really any sick days at Max Effort Muscle.
Yeah.
1099.
Yeah. So we are breaking the law.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Beavis and Butthead up in this bitch. Okay, Butt Life Q2 numero dos.
I'm starting a business in the service industry as an event planner. Do you guys have any tips for how I can sell myself to potential clients? I don't really have any prior sales experience.
Oh shit. Okay, do I have any fucking tips? Yeah, my tip would be, Jeremy. Does this person do they have experience in the event planning field or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit, it sounds like.
All right. Well, I would dress that experience up to the
Great
best of your
answer.
ability. And I would, showcase, whether it be through photography or through videography, previous events that you have taken part or put on. I would take a little more ownership. You got to fake it till you make it a little bit. I would take a little more ownership in the events than maybe you had. And I would show clients basically your portfolio of work. And when you show people your portfolio of work and you want to start your own business, you have to understand the main thing that you really need to do is you need to learn to talk like someone who owns a business. So when you work for somebody, you speak a certain way, right? You take marching orders. When it's your own business and you want to go out on your own, you need to talk like you are the backstop, like you are the be all end all. People need to feel that reassurance from you, that confidence, and they need to believe that you can do what you say you're going to do. So I really think it's almost taking on the persona of I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. I'm going to talk like it. I'm going to walk like it, and I'm going to work like it.
I think John's answer is dead on. It's like highlight, dress up, present, display what you have done at the highest level. What I love about this younger generation is that, I mean, you don't need all this fancy stuff to make a dope iMovie video, or you can take really good pictures with your phone. There's a ton of filters out. There's so many ways to make your business look way sweeter than it probably actually is. And if you have the know-how to answer the questions and you display confidence, I think you can, propel yourself a lot faster. I think that at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. So if you have some experience, you have to highlight that to the nine so you can then continue to get more experience, sell yourself. At the end of the day, you display all those things great, but if you walk in there and you don't display yourself with confidence or look like you know what the fuck you're doing, you can't look people in the eye, they feel it on you that you're nervous and that you ain't got it, you're not going to get the deal. So, or the job or the whatever you're going
Or the what
after.
have you.
Yeah. So that's kind of
So Cory, real
my
quick
answer.
question before we move on. When you
Mhm.
say to the nine, I'm not privy to this. What does that exactly mean?
It's to the best of your ultimate ability with all resources. Put your stuff together to the nine.
Where does the nine come in?
I don't know. I just dressed to the nine, just like a saying where motherfuckers, they look fresh,
Okay, looking fresh. All right.
I mean,
But
I would say you're basically dressed to the nine, John, constantly.
I live to the nine.
You live to
I
the
live,
nine, yes, of
I
course. I
live.
knew that was coming.
Hey, I live life on the nine, dude.
You
Never.
are, you
No,
are.
not the eight. Not the eight. But
Let's
life
go.
Q3 numero tres.
When entering a saturated market like the supplement industry, what did you guys think about to be sure you could differentiate yourselves and grab market share?
Fucking a business model, quality of product. I mean, I think the easiest thing to point to when you look at our brand is how we came together and we literally said, okay, what can we do that's very easy to understand, right? And Cory had a lot of experience in this industry. I had been around it for a long time as well, but coming from his old company, he had some great insights. And I still remember we talk about this all the time. I asked him, what bodybuilding.com did so great. And he said, everyone gets a fucking t-shirt. So combining the idea of stacks and having every product being the same price so people can fucking intermingle their shit. And then in addition, getting a free t-shirt, not just a fucking t-shirt that says bodybuilding.com, but t-shirts that we spend time, energy, and money on designing and keeping fresh. People like our shit. So it's a combination of creating a different kind of stack and giving you a different kind of swag item that essentially is like a jersey for our company, because you are marketing for us, but we like to provide you with a jersey that's stylistic and makes you feel like you're part of something.
Yeah, I think that having some experience, seeing things that went well, but then could have been mildly changed, even go better from a direct to customer standpoint. I think having a business partner that had a lot of amazing marketing ideas that wasn't in the industry. Like John said, he had been around the fitness industry, he's taken part in it, but not had a business necessarily in it. In watching Muscle Farm as a vendor, because John did
Correct.
all the marketing through the UFC. So I think it was like a perfect storm of me saying, hey, this is what I saw. Because really my best ideas came from what we did kind of on bodybuilding.com, because that was the most kind of direct to customer ish thing. And so we had stacks there, but they weren't interchangeable. We had gear, but we never utilized it properly. And I think that those and the taste of the products, I just knew that the industry was progressively rushing products to market
They weren't to
that
the
weren't
nine.
tasting
They
good, or
weren't to the nine.
they weren't to the nine, and that weren't mixing well either. So I think there was some like very basic items that were mild changes that I knew would work well. And then if you throw in the artistic feel, when John had some great ideas for the branding, and then when we came together for the packaging from a standpoint of like delivery with the sack, I think there's a lot of things that kind of came together that John and I, as our different experiences kind of meshed together to be that different and build what has been a very successful venture so far, and really proud of it.
Let's keep it going, dude. Let's keep it on the nine, Core.
I believe it's time for Fosco's World.
Well, thank you, everybody, and the applause continue. But I think it's because you deprived me. You deprived me last episode. Although last episode was very solid, I'm very proud of it. I think it was very informative. But the applause are a little bit longer today because people haven't been in Fosco's World for about a week now. Well, we are back. We are back, and today we are. You know what? Before we get right into my world, Corey, I want to ask you a question.
Sure, go ahead, bud.
Okay, cool. Do you know? Have you ever heard of PD?
PD?
PD. It's like a short for. It's like a PD. Ever heard of that phrase?
What's it stand for?
Peyronie's disease.
I have not.
So Peyronie's disease is serious. It's I saw a commercial on TV the other day about it, and it's a cure. Or they say it's a cure if you have a curved boner. So now, no, this is real though. This is real. And
a curved boner.
Okay, so like all those pharmaceutical companies, how they have those ads with people like walking their grandchildren in like sprinklers and stuff like that.
Yes.
So this one was about having a curved boner, and if you took the medication for Peyronie's,
it uncurved your boner.
I think it worked on lack of curvature in your boner, and I didn't know. I didn't know that was a problem. Like, I thought people could make do with a curved boner,
I guess maybe it's curved the wrong direction.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if we're talking like a curve, like a righty, like going to the right or left. That could be a problem. But the up down deal or the up deal, whatever. I think people can make do. But I just wanted to, before I get into my segment, I just wanted to see if you were aware of it.
I am not aware, but thanks, John.
Okay, so now you know what PD is. I do too. I learned it. I think this weekend. Although I do not suffer from it. Just want to clarify.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So we're in my world. I think I brought you guys in with I wanted to educate. I'm here to educate, and
yes, you are.
and I think I started the right way. But now we're going to get into something a little bit more serious, and that has nothing to do with PD. Let me make that clear. So I've been getting consistent messages, as I'm going to assume everyone involved with this show has, in regards to Maurice not being on it. And I want to say a couple things, because I got a very straight down the middle, which I think is the easiest way for me to understand anything in this world. Message from a listener who said, "Listen, man, I've been listening for 2 years. I've given you guys hundreds of hours. Um, like, I feel like you owe at least a minimal explanation of why the show has changed." And that struck a chord with me, because I think about somebody, you guys are listening now, you guys who literally give us your time, and I want to show appreciation. So I kind of want to use the situation, explain it to the best of my ability, and then explain how it kind of goes into some lessons that we've talked about before. So the three of us are in business together, essentially, Cory, myself, and Maurice at the time. And we always talk about how people have different viewpoints, and um, see things differently. And even if things are great, and man, things were great, I think we all, me, Cory, and I would assume Maurice, uh, love doing the show. I know the chemistry was great. And I never, if I were to bet, I never would have predicted that there was going to be a departure of any sort, because I think we really had great chemistry together. But what happens just in business, and this has nothing to do with right and wrong, but what happens in business is when you take aggressive, driven, alpha style people, and you put them on the same team, and there is a difference of opinion, sometimes these outcomes happen, and they're just as shocking to the guy you're listening to right now as they are to the listener who's like, "Hey, where's Mo?" And all I can say is that, like, this is a lesson for everybody in business. So when you look to the left or to the right, and you have a partner, understand that communication and being on the same page and working so hard on that on a daily basis is basically your only line of defense to prevent a situation from happening where you think everything is great, and you think everybody's comfortable, and you think everybody's happy, and then something happens and the world gets turned on its head. These are unfortunate situations, but they're actually the opposite of rare when it comes to business and business ownership and partners. So as it relates to Maurice, Maurice is one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to. I think he's a extremely deep thinker. He's a thought-provoking guy at all times with amazing experience. And it's unfortunate that he's not on the show anymore. And I, I wish he still was, but he's not. And these are the things, this is the main lesson about business. You can wish all you want, you can want anything, but you have to do one thing every day, and that is continually move forward. Because if you get stuck on something that you cannot change, it will absolutely rip the wheels off your car. Your car will break down. You will not move. So when we are faced with these situations, and I'm sure you listening, you've been in situations where you're like, fuck, man, like, this is not what I wanted. Well, like, that's a tough thing to deal with. And you can deal with that on your own time. But the trick and the key is to never stop moving forward. And that doesn't mean you're not mourning it, or that you wanted it that way. It's just that in this game, and it's the harshest game, there are no other options. There are no other options. So me and Cory on our own time, can talk about how it happened, what could have been done, all this stuff. But that's not moving us forward. What's moving us forward is continuing to provide you, the listener, with the best listening experience and the best information that we possibly can. So, in closing, we didn't hold out information from you, the listener, because we didn't think you deserved a response or information. We value you. We have extreme value for the amount of time that you give us, and this is a sensitive subject. It still is a sensitive subject for us. It's a subject that we wish we didn't have to talk about, but out of respect for you and everyone involved in this show, I felt the need to share my feelings.
Yeah, I think it was well said, John. Look, it's accurate to say that I've basically loved Maurice Claret like a brother for probably a decade plus. It's upsetting when, this, that, or whatever, you don't see eye to eye. It happens all the time. I think to your point, which is the bigger kind of point here, is that
Right.
this is not uncharacteristic of guys that do what we do. This is not unnormal in business. This is very normal. This happens often. And this goes back to the reasoning of John's initial point. One of the first episodes we ever did was, if I become friends with Cory over all this business that we do, and I'd like to think that we're friends, but that's a luxury, that we are a team that wins. But at the end of the day, this thing right here that you're talking about and we're speaking on has happened to me a bunch of times. It's part of the reason why I don't do, business like like I don't try to do business with any family members. I don't try to do business with guys from the gym anymore. I do not try to do that on purpose because, and just any relationships that I know the person maybe doesn't do business on the same level or it has the same kind of aspirations. Like I can't make someone fit like how this maniac world works. And I know I'm just going to get mad at them. I've had friends in the past that I've pushed because I thought they would want something different for themselves, but they don't. And
Right.
and I only am going to be pissed off by working with them. So why not just be their friend? And am I going to talk to them all the time because I'm so busy? Probably not. But I'm still there, and I pick up right where I left off, like I did before when we were in high school, kind of in college, and as we've been adults. So it's just a lesson that really think about it before you go into business with your cousin or somebody you value the relationship, because there is going to be a matter of opinion difference, and you can sometimes agree to disagree, and sometimes you can't. And that's just what it is.
Hey,
That's
in the streets of Newark, that's how it goes. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
So and it just is what it is. So
That's what G's representing right now. Those streets of Newark, boy.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was that, and we appreciate everybody supporting the show. We always have. We always will. And now we are going to yield to traffic, and then we are going to make a left turn after we yield because we have to follow the law. And we're going to make our way to Cory Gregory time.
All right, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, no problem.
There's a really good speech by Jimmy Valvano that I watch every year when it's time for the V Foundation. They've had Stuart Scott, Arthur. They have the Arthur Ashe Award. All this thing the ESPYS do, and it's always, they're always raising money for Jimmy V. And Jimmy V has this amazing speech. And if you're a person on the planet that's never listened to it, please go to YouTube and just watch it. And he says,
Yeah.
he's dying of cancer. This happened over 20 years ago, I believe. And he says, like, if you can smile, cry, and something else every day, that's like
Laugh.
living life to its fullest, because he had been experiencing those things almost daily because of what he was up against. And I started to think, and that always provokes a lot of thought and emotion when I hear that video. It's amazing. And most recently today, I had something happen where I felt scared, excited, and thankful. And it all rushed within, I was telling John, 15 to 30 seconds. It was like I was scared to do something. And I don't mind admitting that because I think everyone deals with that shit. I was excited when I did it, putting myself out there, and the outcome was way better than I expected. And then I was thankful to just be doing it and be happy that I'm partaking in this particular thing. And this can be really applied to anything. And I guess the bigger point of why I'm bringing this up is that a lot of people just don't push themselves to get outside of a very mundane kind of world that they live in to feel these things regularly. And I'm not saying I do all the time either, but it's in an entrepreneurial life, I think there's a lot of emotion and substance to the things that you do and try and new and unseen and imagination. And a lot of these things happen for us a lot. And in a lot of people's lives, it doesn't. And it doesn't have to be business oriented, but I just really think whether it's like, scuba diving, or it's jumping out of a plane, or it's going hot air balloon, or it's going to some you've never been out of the country before. Like, I think that there's things that you need to progressively do that are going to make you a little bit scared. It doesn't have to always be about money. It can just be about challenging yourself. And then that excitement that you feel when you accomplish something that puts yourself out there, in whatever that means to you, and then just being thankful that you're like, fuck, like I just got to experience that with whatever in your own way, that is part of how you're living life. It makes you feel alive. And I couldn't help but just think like, man, a lot of these things kind of happen, maybe not all on top of each other like they did in this case, but they happen often kind of in the way that we operate because of the nature of our lives. And I don't know that they do a lot with the 9 to 5 type of lifestyle. I'm not saying everyone's like that. I'm just saying if you're in a groove where you feel like you're doing a lot of the same stuff and you're starting to get maybe depressed about your situation or you're unhappy with it, start to look at it a little differently. Start to think, how can I push myself to be a little scared to do something that could throw some excitement in my life? And then I could really have some gratitude towards that experience. Like, my family didn't even see the water. Like, we never went on vacation. I never saw the ocean until I was like 18 or 19 years old. That was a part of me growing up that I always saw my friends go on vacation and talk about doing these things, and I never got to experience. Part of the reason, and Rachel was very similar, part of the reason that we like to travel so much is because we want to put ourselves out there and get to places on the planet that we probably never thought we'd ever see. And that there's an excitement that when you step foot in Scotland, Ireland, or we're getting ready to go to Switzerland or wherever these things, or even when I went to Hawaii for the first time during a business trip, I couldn't fucking believe that this kid from this trailer could even have the money to even get there. And I had such a gratitude for the experience that people before me and my family never had, to be straight. And so it's like, I think that we talk a lot about business here, but there's also just a part of just living that I want to really stress, that is what it's about. Push yourself to just feel something. There's a lot of just nothing going on out here, very drone like type shit. Now, most of the people that come to this podcast don't probably think that way, but still can fall into that pattern. Everybody can. And so when I thought about this and felt this morning, it was kind of on my heart just to kind of speak it in whatever way came out. And I'm just excited to hear what Johnny's got to say. So I'll throw it to you, buddy.
So yeah, I would ask yourself, if you're listening, when is the last time that I did something that I was afraid to do? And give yourself a minute and like, do here for all you guys who let's say lift weights and are healthy, taking a 315 bench press doesn't fall under something I was afraid to do. I'm talking about something you haven't done in your fucking life that you want to do, but there's a fucking strong fear attached to it because you may not be good at it. You're unfamiliar with it. You don't know the steps that are required to do it. When was the last time you did something you were afraid to do? Like if the answer is escaping you and you can't come up with it, you're really not living life. Like you're really not living life. Like I can tell you right now, like I don't choose to allow my brain to process fear. When I feel fear, like any other human being, I literally go into challenge mode. My brain immediately reverses that motherfucker into a challenge. So fear, fuck you. Challenge, let's go, bitch. It's like someone's challenging me to fight. So I can tell you this, like, you know, we're in the process of developing this new business, and I'm doing a shit ton of designing stuff, and like, so this would be a fear for most people. Like, it's crazy, it's wild, it's insane, it's not by the book, it's nothing people have seen before, and people could look at it and be like, that's the stupidest shit, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But the ability to take that fear and look at it as like, okay, a challenge, like I'm just gonna fucking challenge myself to be a fucking creative motherfucker. And if people don't like it, well, oh fucking well, but I'm going to do my best, because I think that if I do, they will. And if they don't, it's not about that. So that feeling and that practice of doing things that you're unsure about is so rewarding. Like Cory was saying, it's extremely rewarding, because when you go through it, you realize it's really not about the outcome. It's about the fact that you stared down something and it didn't stop you from action. That's the worst thing we can deal with, guys, is when we stare down something, feel the fear, and the fear stops us. The fear stops us. Essentially, what the fear is doing is it's stopping us from living our lives and progressing as people. And the only thing that gives you wisdom is experience. And if you're not challenging yourself to do things that you're afraid of, how the fuck are you going to have life experience? Because like we talk about all the time on this fucking podcast, the most valuable experiences are the hard ones, right? And if you fear one, it's probably going to be hard in some way, shape, or form. So this is just something really good to think about. And if you're scratching your head saying, man, I really don't know the last time. Well, then, dude, it's time for you to step the fuck out of your shell and evolve.
Yeah, I think there's another feeling that people miss a lot, John, and that's part of the reason why, like, still competing in powerlifting and these other things is the feeling of butterflies. People, like, and maybe you felt this way, maybe you didn't, but like high school basketball, or if you played football, or you had to do a thing at class where you had to stand up in front of people, there's a feeling that you get usually before high level competition or days you have to produce on. Most the world feels that way, and they call it butterflies, which is nervousness. And there's something to be said for feeling that a little bit, pushing it out, and then delivering it and killing it, right? Winning the game, knocking out the speech, knocking out your project in college. And I think that people tend to not really feel that much at all past a certain age. Some people's jobs require it, but a lot of people's jobs don't. And I think that there's things that we're forced into sometimes within structures earlier in life that we're not as we get older. But I think that there has to be a component of that to stay alive. And so I just really wanted to provoke some thought based around these kind of feelings and items. And I just think that that's part of what kind of keeps you sharp and different and alive. So
Yeah,
anyway,
well,
I think
I want to
I think it's
add
good.
something real quick, because I think you made a
Sure.
great point. Like, so if you go and you put yourself out there in whatever way, shape, or form you do, and you don't crush it, and you don't crush it, and you don't hit it out of the park, like the knowledge gained during that process on how you can do better next time, that's life experience. That's how you eventually get good. Don't expect to hit the motherfucking ball out of the park round one or or version 1.0. You got to go out there. You got to take your lumps. You got to. Everybody does. But if you want to get to a place where you do hit the ball out of the park, you have to step into the batter's box. And stepping into the batter's box is fucking nerve-wracking, because people like Randy Johnson could throw 100 miles an hour and, hit you in your head. But at the end of the day, you got to feel that fastball whiz by your fucking face. You have to feel it to know what's up, to know the speed of game out there and how quickly game moves and how sharp game is, so you can then sharpen your fucking sword and have that kind of game. So I think the experience, win, lose, or draw, will only make you better your next time around.
Right, Johnny, rather fight in the arena than sit in the stands, because you're going to get an outcome to get better, so you can be a champion one day. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, I believe it's time for our main event.
Ring the bell, please. I know it's probably hard for you because you're fucking still drunk, but yeah, ring the bell.
All right, Johnny. So we were talking off camera, off audio, whatever, off the air,
off digital audio,
off digital,
off
about you
off
being
internet, plural.
You being the listener, or AKA us, knowing that we are our biggest advocate for, compensation. That pretty much no employee is ever like, "Yo, I'm paid exactly what I'm worth." Like, I've never heard anybody ever say that before. And that, you are your best champion to fucking go out and get what you believe you're worth. So we were kind of chatting back and forth on that. I'll let you start it, man.
Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys have said to yourself, "Man, they don't fucking pay me enough. Man, they don't fucking pay me enough. They don't fucking." Well, okay, maybe they, whoever the fuck they are, your business, your company, your boss, whoever, maybe they don't pay you enough. Okay, here's my question for you. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, you fucking crybaby motherfucker? You going to go home to your girlfriend and say they don't pay me enough? What's that going to do outside of bring negative energy into your life and your home? Here's what I would highly suggest. Get a strategy so they have to pay you more. I've talked about this a lot on the show. Becoming replaceable in a system, you need to understand that just by doing your job, you are not entitled to more money. You are entitled, and you have a case when you bring it to someone. And yes, you, I'm talking to you, have to bring it to someone. Don't expect people to come to you and say, "Can I pay you more money? Can I give you?"
It's not going to happen, motherfuckers.
Can I give you a raise? Can I take money out of my pocket and put it in yours? Would that be okay with you? Don't expect people to fucking do that. Don't expect it. And don't say, "Well, I come in so hard. They should know how hard of a fucking work." Listen, motherfucker, people are replaceable. You're replaceable. So if you want to make more money, you have to be so good that you can walk into their office and say, "It's time to talk about my compensation." Well, why? Why, Peter? Why is it time to talk about your compensation, Peter? Well, it's time to talk about my fucking compensation because I've been the number one earner the past 4 fucking months. Here's the fucking deal. Bop, 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 bop. You lay it out for them. And then it's you. It's not them. So if you, just like how I opened, if you do talk about, "Oh, they don't pay me enough," like your next statement should be to yourself. It should be, "What am I doing to change it?" From an action standpoint, and then from a strategy standpoint. Stop complaining. Stop being the victim. You're not a victim. When you interviewed for that job and you accepted that salary and you said, "Thank you for the opportunity," were you a victim? Or did you get an opportunity? You got a fucking opportunity. So don't talk like a fucking victim, because you're fucking not. Use your head, outsmart the people around you, and go get more money. Or leave and go get money somewhere else. It's a fucking free market, bro. They pay you what you're worth. You got skills? Flex them. Go get paid. But I don't want to hear this fucking shit of, "Oh, I'm worth more. The man is holding me." Fuck you. You're not a fucking victim. You fucking took the motherfucking job. Show me your boss holding a gun to your head saying you have to stay here. Show me that. Once you show me that, then I'll have a little fucking a little more courtesy for you. But until then, dude, you got to handle this yourself.
Yeah, I think this comes right back to kind of stuff we were talking about earlier, John. It's like, you're fucking scared. You're scared, so you put it on someone else. And it's like, how about this? How about fucking have a strategy, work your fucking ass off, and take what is yours? Like, if you really believe you're worth it, if you really deep down think I'm worth so much fucking money because I got these skills and I kill it, then fucking showcase it. Walk into the fucking office. You better be the number one earner. You better have the analytics to fucking back it up. You better bring it with fucking confidence. Because if you walk in that fucking room and you sit with a guy like John or myself and you got half the fucking game and it's all ego and you got no backup, you're out the fucking door. And that's the entitlement shit that you can take with you too. That's it. You got to fucking take it. You got to be not scared to go out and do something else if you want paid more because you believe you got the fucking pop that you're sitting around crying about. I'm fucking tired of this shit because I'm going to tell you straight up. Like, the guy punched me in the face when he said, fucking G, you're getting paid what you're worth right now. He looked me dead in my fucking eye. And I was so fucking pissed at him because I said, I'm way fucking sweeter than this. I don't understand why it's not working. He said, you're being paid what you're worth. So you better get some more fucking skills. You better lose the fucking entitlement and get some more fucking skills if you really think you're this big bad motherfucker that's this international trainer that's supposed to be making all this money. You're not, because you're not worth it. And I looked at him and I was like, man, fuck you. But really, I thought to myself, fuck, maybe this motherfucker's right. And I did some soul searching and I realized you ain't as fucking sweet as you think you are.
Right.
And if I would have walked my ass into a room with me or John at that time, we would have laughed at me. We would have fucking laughed at me. Seriously.
Yeah.
We would have fucking laughed at me. And then you know what I did? I got out of my comfort zone. I got it together and I wanted to be a fucking force to be reckoned with in the supplement business because I knew I could do things better at that time. In 2006, I started fucking with it. I didn't get an opportunity till I was 30 years old, late 2008. And when I had a fucking opportunity, I fucking killed it. And still to this day, John and I were fucking killing it because I knew then that I could contribute to that industry in a better way than what I was seeing or what I was consuming. And I fucking went and did it. And I'm still doing it. And now we are doing it. And that is the fucking truth. Like, you gotta fucking want it. No one's gonna fucking put you on. I'm so tired of this shit. I put my fucking self on. I put myself on and put myself into a situation so I could work with great people that fucking put their everything they got into it. And that's what it is. And no one, just quit fucking waiting on everybody.
Take it. I've referenced the tattoo on my forearm, and it's there for a fucking reason because, I always thought that I should get paid more, and out the gate, I earned pretty well early, but I realized really quickly, okay, dude, you want to make more motherfucking money? How about this? Stop waiting on other people to write you checks, and how about you start writing yourself checks?
Word, John.
And at that point is when it was like, oh, this is how you fucking do it. And that's the transition I made. And that's the transition that opened up. It opened up and it shut down me from ever saying I should be paid more, because immediately I took control of what I make. And that's what I think we're trying to tell you guys, is that if you got such a fucking problem with it, get in the business of yourself and you write yourself checks. Because I'll tell you this, there's no limit on the dollar amount of a check that I write myself. Okay. It's based on production. So if I have a shitty year from an earnings standpoint, motherfucker, I look in the mirror. If I have a great year from an earnings standpoint, I look in the goddamn mirror. And every fucking year, regardless which way it goes, and typically, knock on wood, it goes up, you learn the lessons of the previous year and you add and you develop an understanding of how you can best use you to make money. And for people who really believe they're skilled, I would strongly advise you do what I did and start getting into the business of writing yourself checks versus waiting on other people to.
I think that right there, Johnny, is a great way to like hammer that home, because that's the two sides that most people are on. waiting on someone else to do it, or taking the bull by their horns and doing it themselves. And I think that's literally the difference maker. You just wrapped it up, and I think the best way possible, because there's so many people sitting on the sidelines. You're going to be waiting for fucking ever. I mean, it's not going to happen because no one's throwing you the fucking lottery ticket.
No.
That ain't how this life works. It's just not how it works. And I had to get past that too. Everybody has to get past it. And it's hard. It's hard to get past it. But when you understand it, I mean, it opens up a whole like opportunity of just experiences and excitement and failures and wins, and it's just life experiences, man. Just living the life. It's really it just opens up so much.
Yeah, this guys, work, business. It's not fair. The mechanics, the structure of it aren't set up to be fair. The way they're set up by owners of businesses. And the way they're set up is so owners can profit at a level much, 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 much higher than you as the employee can earn. And you can argue it all day, but it doesn't change the fact that owners put up risk, owners put up money, owners put up everything to create opportunity. They create the opportunity that got you a job. So you're employed by someone who took a fucking risk, and that risk worked. So the rules of the game are made by the people who take the risks. If you're not taking the risks, don't be upset about the rules, because everybody has the opportunity to make the rules. Go out and get money. Go spend your money. Why don't you create jobs? Why don't you hire people? It's good for fucking tax revenue. It's good for the fucking geographic area you live in. It's good for fucking young people. It's good for all people. It's good older people. Why don't you do it? Well, you don't do it because you don't want to take the risk, right? So if you don't want to take the risk, why are you pointing at the risk takers and saying, I deserve more fucking money? Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. Honestly, fuck you. I know that you ain't willing to fucking move all around the goddamn globe. You ain't willing to write 6-figure checks that you ain't got no clue when it's coming back to you. You ain't willing to put out millions. You just want a safe place to get a paycheck and to pay your mortgage and to pay your car and to come home and have dinner. That's not the fucking life we live. That's why we get paid more. So if you want to come on over to this fucking side, please come on over. Join the motherfucking party. But I think you're going to find out it's not a party. It's a war. It's a fucking war. It's a war. What you get is you get to have a party. You get to have kids' birthday parties, birthday cake, all this shit. That don't happen in this world. In this world, it's fucking work, bro. It's fucking work. And if you want to look at what I make or what someone else makes, and you want to criticize it and say, fuck you. Fuck you. Take control of your shit and stop thinking you're entitled to what someone else has, because what someone else has is a product of the work they have put in. Period. End of fucking story. Don't look at what I have. It's not about me. Don't look at what anyone has. What do you have? And what are you doing to get more? That's it. That's it.
I love it, Johnny. I think that's where we wrap it, dude. I thought it was really good. I think these kind of topics just need to be so ingrained with what's going on out here right now. I don't think we can talk about these types of things that are extremely applicable right now. Like, you just listen to this podcast and you can essentially kind of checks and balance your life against it to get better. That's what I love about what we provide here, Johnny. I mean,
Yep.
straight up.
Absolutely. Listen, I think I think this is a shout out to our partner, Dustin Myers. I think this is a gut check.
It is a gut check, right?
Shout out to
exactly.
D.
He'll love the deal. Love the shout out. I agree.
Yes.
I mean, that's one thing about those grimy type sports. They make you reveal your fucking deep down character, And business does the same thing, right, John? I mean, you go through some fucking serious fucking lows, and it makes you gut check your ass real quick to see if this is what you're really about. Don't tweet about it, be about it,
Don't tweet
Johnny.
about it. Be about it, dog.
You can't even log into
Hey,
your
I
Twitter,
can't
so
log into my Twitter. My fucking LinkedIn account's been hacked for 7 years, and I don't even know my Facebook because someone else is doing stuff with it. Anyways, I
All
think this takes us to the fuck off 5, Cory.
Oh yeah, it does, and then we can talk about
Yeah,
Square.
yeah,
So, all right,
absolutely.
John, go ahead.
So,
Fuck off
so,
5. What do you want to talk about?
so I have a problem that I'm gonna ask. I'm going to ask the listeners to help me out with. So
Okay.
I sweat at a level that is some people have said unseen. So
It's pretty
it
impressive.
it
So do I now.
yeah, yeah,
Now that I'm your business partner.
you do some nice work in your pits. I'll tell you that.
Yes, I do.
I'm almost my back, my entire back, and then it comes around to my chest and down almost to my penis when I'm sweating. So here's what happens, right? So I've been trying to get back into hot yoga, which
There
is
you go.
fucking amazing for an unflexible guy like myself. But here's the problem, dude. I fucking my mat turns into a reservoir.
Swimming pool.
And not only does
Hot
it turn
yoga.
into a reservoir, they have you do these goofy fucking poses, this fucking horses and stars, they call it, all this stuff. And I'm trying to fucking stand and do it, and my fucking knees are wobbling out on me. I'm like, I can't get any grip on the motherfucking
Yeah.
mat, and I feel like I'm gonna fucking tear my ACL. And
You're like a waterfall in that
bro,
thing,
I got
ain't you?
3 towels on the motherfucking mat. I am fucking my clothes, my shorts, and my fucking the little shirt I have on weigh about 7 pounds because I literally look like I just jumped in a goddamn ocean. And
It's amazing.
and I cannot stand. So if there's anyone out there, I'm thinking about taking it back to like the 90s, like aqua socks. Will that help? I need
Yes.
yes, remember aqua
Yes.
socks, dude?
Yes,
Yes,
of course.
fantastic. I need some fucking like applicable help here because I would like to continue on my journey of being horrible at yoga, but I can't stand on my mat, Cory. I can't. I
That's
can't stand.
amazing.
And here's another thing. Maybe you know about it because you're a you're G and
Sweaty
you're
guy.
Get Stack 49.
Yes.
When I emit all this moisture, we'll say,
Okay.
towards let's say after fucking 3 gallons of already poured out,
Sure.
my sweat starts to look like semen because I believe. Listen, I'm dead serious because I think
Okay.
that's the salt. I think it's getting to the
Yeah, it's
end
sodium.
and it's
Yeah,
very
it is.
white. And some
Yeah,
people
it
look at
is.
my mat and they're like, did he have a accident?
No, that's exactly true. It's like you sweated to like the end of the fucking your sweat gland.
Right. So it looks like I had an accident in my reservoir
That's
on my
unbelievable. I
mat
had a
publicly.
bad sweating experience at my second class, Prof G. I wore the Max Effort Muscle crew neck
That's a
on a
nice
day
crew
where it
neck.
was
I like that
cold.
crew neck.
Yeah, it was it was the blue one. It
Very
was
nice.
cold when we left. Me and Trey, he had a sweatshirt on too. And we went down there and dude, when we went to the room, it was hot as shit. And I didn't wear a t-shirt under it. So I can just feel it within the first 10 minutes, man. I'm just like sweating my ass off. I look down and I can see my sweat mark go from underneath my armpit all the way to my waistline, bro.
That's
It was so disturbing. There was one of the girls in my there's one of the girls in my class. She looked at me, she's
you're a
like,
total pervert
"Is
teacher, aren't
that?"
you? Are you like the pervert college teacher?
I'm not. She goes, "Is that sweat?" And I was like, yeah." She goes, "Bro." like, are you fucking kidding me?
I would have been I would have
So
been like,
bad.
Trey, although you wear an extra small fucking shirt, give me yours
Give it to
so it
me.
doesn't have
Yeah,
sweat
it
on it.
was an undesirable look. And and then once we were done, she was like, "Dude, it's so bad." I was like, "Fuck
Ha-
off."
Yeah. I mean, that's intense, especially when you're trying to teach and people are like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm in front of the
this
class and
fucking
my spit
goofball.
mark goes to my
Yeah, he looks
pocket.
like a fucking obese goofball,
It was bad,
sweating
dude.
everywhere. But have you seen that before where people sweat to the point of like it looks like semen?
Not to where the point where it looks like semen, but I have seen where people sweat to the point where their sodium is like, yeah, coming
So
out.
it's like a
Absolutely.
white kind of
Yeah, it's just like a white residue.
residue.
It's literally, and I think that that's one of the things with you we've talked about ever since I met you is you balancing your hydration, John, and you add
I'm
that to the
terrible at
mix.
that.
You're you're gonna have to be really. I mean, literally, you might have to put 4 scoops of amino recovery in like a gallon of water and drink it every day, and that's pretty much what I do at this
Yeah,
point.
I get to
Like,
my 4 scoops of amino recovery, literally, but I don't think what I do is I just slam it in like maybe 8 ounces of water. So that would be like 32 ounces of water for 4 scoops. So that's probably not enough
yeah, you probably need a little bit more, but either way, that's a hilarious thing, and because I've seen you, during the podcast sweat through 1 to 2
to
to 3
yeah,
shirts,
or sometimes.
I I could imagine in a 100-degree temperature room that it's probably hilarious.
Yeah. So if you are a listener and you also sweat to the point of people thinking that you had an accident that included semen, please DM me and talk. We'll start a support group or something.
Perfect time to go to Square,
Okay.
John. Are you aware that when you sign up for the Square card, you get real-time access to your Square balance? Make a sale and boom, the
Booyah!
money is
Remember when people used
now
to say
on your
booyah?
booyah for
Yeah,
sure.
you still
Your
drop
money is now
that.
in your
You
business.
still drop that.
Yeah,
CoryGFitness.com.
I
If you
did.
want to see it, go there.
Booyah.
$9, motherfucker. Good deal. Good deal.
It's actually $8.99.
$8.99.
The
Save that
debit
penny,
is
dude.
right there.
Newark.
So the fact that you can sell your service and then have a card that you can directly use like a debit card. A lot of people aren't aware that Square has that opportunity. So make sure you go to square.com/go/biceps to sign up for the Square
Corey,
card. It
Square's
has
a
no
great
sign up
partner.
fees, no annual. They are amazing partner. I'm actually like when I tell people
Time
that
out.
we have
Butt Life,
Square on
where's
our
my Square
podcast,
shirt? You listen, this fucking
probably in his
guy, I've been
apartment.
fucking telling him. I said, all you degenerates in Ohio and this fucking guy who steal my shit, you fucking, I want my Square shirt. Anyway,
I want to see John in the
yeah,
Square
well,
shirt. I've
listen,
never seen it.
Square's stock price will go up if I put it on.
I am very proud of having them as a partner. I feel big time when we can talk about Square.
They're an
'Cause they're huge.
ecosystem of solutions. You know, a lot of people think ecosystem, they think, maybe a canopy jungle in Brazil, like that kind of eco. No, we're talking about an ecosystem of business solutions. It's like a canopy jungle in the rainforest, but for your business.
Square.com/go/biceps. All right, Johnny, you ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready to wrap it up, dog. I'm ready to wrap it up, G.
All right, Johnny Fosco.
G!
Can the podcast be
The
stopped?
podcast could be stopped.